Hello Rosenbergers, I hope you enjoyed the last video made by Rebecca in Island Waves. This video now is inspired by King Harrison. This is what he said, this is what he asked me a few months ago, and I'm happy to make a video on this account. The same applies to any of your comments. If you want me to make a video on something, make a post. Maybe I can't do it immediately, but if it's something that I find is worthwhile for everybody, I shall certainly get on to it. Hope you enjoy the video. Thank you very much. Look at my wallet here. Take this picture that I've had in my wallet for many years. I always take this out every so often. These 4 men. Because they help keep me right on a daily basis. And this video is about these 4 men. What might that mean? It's the last time in life no one expects anything of you. When I've heard that, I thought there's a great deal of truth in that. It's a true statement. But how does that marry with what I do in the classroom? How does that change what I do in the classroom? Otherwise there's no point in me hearing these things and thinking about these things unless it changes my practice in some way or my attitude in some way. For example, suppose I was teaching 5 units of work to a given class in any given year, and unit number 3 was done particularly poorly, and I saw this pattern happen throughout the years. How would I respond to that? Well, my response would be more homeworks and perhaps more supported study after school hours or during the lunch break. That would be my response. And what's more, I would expect you to fully cooperate. I would expect you to do this extra homework and attend the supported study. And if not, I would take the appropriate action. In other words, I'm putting you under pressure. But now I've got a problem, because I've just saw a film that states education or your school days are the last time in life that no one expects anything from you, and I'm putting you under pressure. This is an inescapable contradiction. Both of these things cannot hold at the same time, and you're getting a message that is unclear and an impression of education that's contradictory and hypocritical. And the citizens of the future in a democratic society can't have that. So how do I approach things now if I wish to avoid this contradiction? Well, it's very straightforward. Teach the unit better. That is the only sustainable way to solve that contradiction. Teach, research the unit and simply teach it better using a better range or a more appropriate range of methodologies. And there is no contradiction. And by doing that, not only am I remaining true to Goldman's point, I'm also becoming a better teacher and a more thoughtful teacher in the process. Thank you for that, Bill. Whitehead introduced me to the idea of inept knowledge and a bad education. These were new concepts to me. Now I knew what inertia meant. The inertia of a body is a body that doesn't want to change its motion. For example, a car, for example, it's hard to make a car move, but when it is moving, it's hard to stop it. It takes a great deal of effort to stop it. It's resisting change. Inept gases, for example, the periodic table. Inept gases don't react with anything. They don't change any of the states of matter round about them. Inept knowledge, I suppose, according to Whitehead, would be knowledge that doesn't change anything. And therefore, if knowledge is there and doesn't change anything, it hasn't impacted your life in any way, it's pretty much useless, according to Whitehead. And there's truth in that. Take, for example, the famous astronomer Galileo. Galileo understood the way light interacted with matter. He knew how light interacted with mirrors and its properties. He knew how light interacted with glass and its properties. And he took this information, this knowledge, and he designed telescopes that enabled him to discover the 4 major moons of Jupiter. This is a man who had great knowledge, but he utilised it to great effect. No one will ever say Galileo was a useless bore. So for me as a teacher, the work of Whitehead has helped me understand the nature of knowledge, and so when I'm conveying knowledge in physics, I endeavour to teach you that knowledge to a particular depth in a variety of different ways, so you're able to utilise it in different contexts for whatever it is you're doing when you eventually join your society. So in that respect, Whitehead has made me a better teacher. Thank you for that, Arthur. Skinner's insight was profound. He realised that most knowledge, most information we're going to learn, no matter how effectively we've learned it, will ultimately be forgotten. His interest and his insight was the process of learning. It was the process by which we learned this information that was important. Skinner understood that it was the processes, the methodologies and the pedagogies that we are exposed to when we're acquiring knowledge in school that ultimately make us who we are. This is where the proper education comes from. When the facts and figures are forgotten, the experiences we acquired by picking up this information will remain with us and define ultimately who we're going to become. Now, mastering different methodologies and different pedagogies is a lifelong career pursuit for the teacher, and I've embarked on that pursuit with great gusto because of Bruce Skinner, and because of that, I'm a better teacher today. Thank you for that, Bruce. What Dewey was getting at was this: tomorrow's society depends very much on the quality of education today. If that's a high quality education, free of contradictions, free of inconsistencies, free of focusing on things that are simply incidental to education, are not really what should be driving us forward, and it's an education system that adheres strongly to the principles of these 4 men I'm talking about and many, many others, then we can be confident that the society of the future that you will create will be one we want to live in. If these things do not hold, then it's anybody's guess where we may end up. But I, for one, don't fancy it. Of course, you might say, well, Bernie, this is a dynamic world, and it's a changing world, and it's all sorts of things. And that's because it's interconnected, it's because of globalisation. That's beyond Scotland's control. All very true, and I concur. However, the extent we take a leadership role in that changing society will very much depend on what's happening today in schools and in universities and in colleges, and indeed, if you're going to be learning all your life, then everywhere we can imagine. I switched on the telly the other day and Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, was talking about Brexit. Now, John Dewey was alive today and he was asked about Brexit and does he think it will make Britain a better place. He would be clear in his response. Brexit is a part of a framework. It has no intrinsic value. Whether Britain becomes a better place in the future, when any other country becomes a better place in the future, that will largely depend on the ingenuity of the people of that country. It won't depend on the playing field, although that's important. It will ultimately depend on the ingenuity, the creativity and the kindness of the people of the future. And that ultimately depends on what happens today in places of education and the extent principle is adhered to. Well, I've got my hat on, I've got my jacket on, I've got plenty of tickets here, Rosenbergers. Let's all go to the cinema, there's a great picture on. My name is Bernard Rosenberg and I'm the young Scottish physicist. Thank you very much.